What's going on, good people? Before we get in today's episode, we want to shout out our sponsors for this week. The wonderful Cultivate Real Estate. That's it, residential home real estate here in the ATL. Adrian, Aaron, and the crew. They are all about helping you with your home ownership needs. You got questions, concerns. You don't even know where to start, if we're honest with you here. Check them out, Cultivate Real Estate.
Right. Where do you check them out at? Well, Instagram is the primary way that they would love to hear from you. So slide in them DMs, hit them up with a good message. This is a little different than your normal DM. So this one's good. This one is for your future. This is for your home. All right. So ask whatever you want. Hit them up and they'll be happy to get back with you. It's Cultivate Real Estate. That's all you do. Just add that, find them, befriend them, follow them, and reach out to them for your home ownership needs.
All right.
Let's get into it.
Let's go.
Welcome back into Sum It Up with the Sumners. I am Katoya, and this is
Damon.
Damon. My husband's name is not Damien. It's not Damon. His name is Damon.
She's not Latoya.
I'm not Latoya or Victoria.
Oh, excuse me?
Yeah, that one is the phone. Hey, thank you. This is Katoya. Hey, Victoria. No,
Hilarious.
not what I said. I used to be Victoria many a time. So, no, Damon and Katoya, and our last name is Sumner, and that is why you are listening to Summed Up with the Sumners. If it's your first time, welcome. And if you've been rocking with us, what up, y'all? Welcome back to another week. We always start our podcast off with telling you thank you because we are so appreciative for you guys and listening to us and growing with us as we hit, what is this episode?
I don't know. We're in the 20s.
We're in the 20s.
We're in the 20s.
Oh my gosh.
Because of you.
Because of you. Like, if no one was listening to this, we wouldn't keep doing it.
No.
But because there are listeners, there is feedback, like lovely reviews that we're going to read right now. That's why we're here. So, let's start with a review because we love reading those. We love hearing your thoughts. And this one comes from a really great friend of mine, ours. It's called Relatable. Good topic, right? And of course, it is only 5 stars. And it says, love this podcast. They are so relatable and funny. Great content so far and can't wait for new episodes. That came from Jennifer Moore. Jen LaJoy is her name on
Jen
there.
LaJoy.
So excited. Thanks, friend. Thank y'all so much for listening. Please go review on Apple Podcasts. We love to read these and we love to get the feedback.
Definitely. Also, while you're doing that, we would love for you to consider joining us on Patreon for exclusive content. We've got some bonus episodes. We've been recording some here. We're going to put those out. For as little as $3, we would love to get a chance for you to join us and supporting us here. We're trying to do some new things, maybe trying to upgrade our space, upgrade our equipment, all that just to give you better content, a better product, and hopefully just more value in your life.
Right.
As well as check us out on the Facebook group, private Facebook group. I got those down in the show notes for some fun. We're trying to do some cool and some fun stuff as well. We're plotting planning in 2021. We're plotting planning, man. And we want you, that's it, take over the world.
One is a genius, the other's insane.
Who know that? Where my millennials at out here?
Who's the genius, who's insane?
That's not important. Let's get into it here. Today we're talking about how to be a better listener.
Oh, and that's also a callback to another episode.
Yes, it is.
Get Pinky and Brain.
That's fair.
You know,
we try to throw in callbacks here and there.
Listen.
We try to string you along like a journey.
But also, every time someone says plotting and planning, I just can't.
That's good. That was good.
I think we should introduce it to the kids. We should watch an episode of Pinky and Brain. And then I'm probably gonna be like, this is dumb. But we should still try it.
We can try. We'll get one episode. But we are talking about how to be a better listener. We know communication is crucial for the Sumners here. And that is, communication is key. I don't know if that's a slogan or a mantra.
I don't know. I told y'all I'm trying to figure out this shirt. To sum it up with the Sumners. I mean, merch is just so easy to make. I just bought somebody's shirt today.
What did it say?
Prime Fitness.
That's what it said?
That's it.
It was the name of their place?
That's the name of their stuff. But I was just like, that's it, some words. You know? And I'm like, and of course I support black businesses like it ain't nobody's business.
Shut it up.
And then 2, I just love supporting small businesses. So when we drop that merch, just know my brain's been working. I'm trying to figure out what sum it up means to us.
I hear you.
Yeah, anyway.
We're talking about listening. We're talking about communication.
Talking about listening.
But specifically, we're saying how to be a better listener.
Right.
Right? Because it's a two-way street. And not only is the talk got to be important, right, but the listener as well. So we're just going to dig into that. You know, we've been together for 15 years, married for 12.
It is true.
Talk to me. And one thing that we try to do well, we're not perfect, we're not experts, but we try to listen well. We try to listen well. I think we've come a long way because we have to realize a lot of things about ourselves and how we like to communicate, right? We've talked about things like that.
Right.
So we're going to get into it here. We're going to share a few things that's worked for us and hopefully it brings value to you. But yeah, let's jump right into this bad boy, listening. Now, off top here, one thing I know about Katoya is that she knows that I'm the better listener, right? And so in regards to that, see?
I think that's rude. But I do think that you're a great listener. I'm not comparing the listening.
I'm joking.
Because I would be a great communicator. This is true.
So you're a better communicator and a better listener. Is that what you're saying?
Sure.
Nah, I don't like that. Communicator is more important. Let's focus here. We're back. Well, number one, off top, thing that is important when we're talking about being a better listener, right, is that limiting the distractions, right, and playing a part with the timing. I know that it is not ideal if I want to share something with Katoya that is frivolous or very important. If she is reading, if she is on her phone and, checking email, like, sure, we can have a conversation when people multitask, although we know how science feels about multitasking.
I don't think
but specifically, I can't really get upset at her if I'm trying to tell her something and she was reading something and I just come, hey, Katoya, listen up. I've got a show tonight at 9 and in the morning I got to go to the dentist at 10:30.
I had to hit you with the old school.
That old school.
You can stop.
Braxton.
I'm not listening right now.
That's
literally how it feels to me when someone interrupts. Whoa, I'm in the middle of I am doing something. My kids absolutely have no idea what that means.
So I can't really expect a high degree of you being a great listener in that aspect because the timing was poor and there were distractions.
Well, and you didn't, in this scenario, you didn't make sure I was listening. Right. So that is important, right? If someone is doing it, it's like, hey, can I ask you something real quick? I do think you need a lead-in question if you're trying to, communicate
something. Try to pull them out or something.
If you know that's how they operate. Most times, Damon, he's not really affected by that, so it would work. But if you do all of that and I never acknowledge you before you get done, then that's on you because I didn't hear you. I literally zone out. And I'm like, oh, yo, what were you just saying? I didn't hear any of that because I was actually reading and you were talking, but that didn't mean that I pulled myself out of what I was doing. Right. So there is something about saying that. And speaking of kids again, I just recently explained it to my children. It's like, you have to say, Mom, is it a good time to ask you a question? Mom, I have a couple questions. Now's a good time. Right. I'm trying to teach them that because they'll just come up and attack. Fail. It's literally they go, attack! Hey! Ma! Whoa. And then all of that while I'm reading the instructions email or whatever to cook or something. I am not available. And I've told you that before, but that's my new thing. No, I'm not available right now. And I'm in front of you. But that I'm not available.
Do not disturb.
Making sure that everyone's ready to listen. Now, again, I do think this is important because we're not saying this is everything we're saying isn't necessarily for the biggest conversation. It's just to listen. Yeah. Right? I mean, for your bigger conversation, you want to make sure it's right. Oh, right? Yeah. You want to make sure, hey, they had a good day at work.
we all fed.
We all ate. I've said I loved you. You might want, if you ready to get a good combo in, but just on a regular, everyday, I'm trying to communicate something to you.
On a level of how was your day? Yeah. On just kind of on that level, right?
Yeah. Or, hey, this is what is happening tomorrow. Yeah. Just any type of dialogue that's just kind of just listening, making sure the time is right and that you have their attention.
There's ownership on both sides that's important here. And as a listener, right, limiting the distractions, right? If I was watching TV, she hits me with the question, I'm going to pause the TV. I'm going to turn the TV off. I want to be a better listener, right? We all want to put ourselves in our shoes here for this conversation, right? Because we feel like we all can be better in many aspects. So we want to be better listeners for our partner, right? So I want to, put my phone away. Instagram ain't going nowhere. Turn the TV off, right? Whatever the case may be. Turn the music. Whatever the case may be. so that you can really listen to what they're saying. It may be something as they're sharing about their day. They may need to vent, which we'll get into in a minute here. Whatever the case may be, understanding that. But the timing as well is important as well. As a listener, that's important too, because sometimes you might want to share something and the conversation leads to something else. And and if you were listening well, then you can kind of help be a part of this conversation going somewhere. Hopefully that's going to lead to more healthy dialogue.
I think being a good listener is also, it has a big level of intuitiveness, right? To understand, kind of like to read a little bit of where this person's coming from.
Inference skills.
Yeah, inferencing. Because as David mentioned just a minute ago, like, what does this person want from this conversation, right? Like, do they want my advice? Oh my gosh, there's nothing worse than getting advice from someone when you just trying to tell them something. I'm just pissed. I'm just mad. And I just want to go out. Well, last time you did that. Oh!
I'm out.
Whoa.
I'm out.
Do you see my body language? Do you hear my tone? Do you, you got to know a little bit of where to go. Mm-hmm. And I think, it's about knowing the person. Mm-hmm. It's about being bold or brave sometimes. Because sometimes you might need to tell them, hey, I want to try to tell you this. Maybe you don't want to hear this right now, but I think it'd be beneficial for you. But you gotta know. You gotta know. There's a level of just inferencing and intuitiveness on loving this person best and not loving them in the way you feel, but what they need right now. Yeah. And it's not always advice. Sometimes somebody just wants to vent and they want you to listen.
Boom.
You can see that. Boom. It's the tone. It's the way they coming in.
It's the speed and there's no space.
Yeah. There's no opportunity for you to talk. I'm going in. I'm going in.
Hush.
And I'm going to go hard. All right? And so I just need you to listen because I just got to get this off. And then, hey, there's times I often need the support of Damon to process through some things. And I'm just like, all right, so help me with this. Right? But I said that clearly. Mm-hmm. Hey, I want your help with this. But you may not always get a communicator who is very clear in communicating what they want from you. Fair. So therefore, you're going to have to, all right, are we solving a problem here together? Okay.
And that question is helpful so that you can be a better listener.
It is true. Right? I mean, it is true. So it could be a venting session. It could be a question where they need you to problem solve. It could be...
Just sometimes you may want to just kind of, they may just want when you're trying to give a little insight or a little bit of feedback, they just may want that so they can take that and process later.
Yeah, that's good.
Right? What do you think about that? Okay, thanks for sharing. And we can keep it moving. Now, there may be times with Katoya, I'll say, hey, listen, this is what I'm thinking here. And usually I've thought about it because I'm not the best communicator. We said earlier in the show. I've already come to it. But now...
No, that was so many of our earlier arguments. You already arrived.
I'm already here. I've already parked, bought a ticket.
I don't even know how you got here, and you've already gotten the answer.
She wasn't
and
in
I
the
wasn't
car
a part of the process.
At all. No
process.
Come
a long way. Hey,
you've come a long way.
You've come a long way.
Thank you.
In that regard.
I appreciate that.
Devin always, he does maybe I don't praise enough. Or I don't highlight that growth. So I just want to do that right now publicly. You have grown in that area.
This is what you call foreplay. Anyway. Anywho. What I'm saying is there's different roles, right, that you can have as a listener. And it's important. I think it's really good because if you ask me the question, and I'm depending on my mood, the person talking is gonna give you. I just want you to listen, right? But that intuitiveness is really important here, right? Because you really can focus on what they're saying, right? And kind of try to pick up.
The way you want to go. I mean, it's both, right? I think a great communicator can communicate it, but depending on the stress or the topic or whatever it is, or the what's moving, how fast you round, and what you're doing, you might not always communicate your need well. But as a listener, you can also ask the question as well.
Clarifying questions,
right? Yeah, like, hey, so do you want me to listen to this? You want me to give some insight? I just want to make sure.
Just want to make sure I can help.
I do think that can be testy though.
Fair.
Because depending on the dynamic of your relationship, you tell me, you want me to problem solve? No, I want you to problem solve. You feel like you always problem solve for me? It can just go wrong, right? But So I think as a communicator, as a tip on a communicator side, whoever is voicing and talking, I
Bonus
think
tip.
Hey, can I get your attention real quick?
Boom.
I want to run this by you, or hey, you know, what do you think about this?
Yeah.
Or you know, like,
Yeah.
that even that knee touch I'm doing that you might can't see.
Boom.
Hey,
Boom.
I'll come in and I'll just be like, put his phone down. You know, I'm like, hey, I need you.
Need you right now.
You're right. So just there's a level of intuitive and inferencing, but if you really want to communicate even better, you can just be more clear with like stating what it is you want, and as a listener, asking what they would like.
I know as the oldest of 3 boys and having to, based off of my upbringing, do a lot, solve a lot of problems, be in a leadership position, air quotes if you will, I'll try to solve that problem and going about there. I know one thing that I've observed from Katoria and just being an adult and from other people is the clarifying question in the midst of dialogue. That is not a skill Damon being 21, I probably had on my tool belt. And it's a really helpful thing as a listener, right? Because I'm not, and some of you probably can relate, where you feel like, man, I really got to be better of not just trying to come in and solve the problem and be a problem solver. I don't know what that is on the Enneagram or the personality trait, but they want to solve the problem. They want to give you the insight. They want to, boom, give it to you. Here's an article. Read this. I heard a podcast. Listen to this. This is what my mama told me. Watch this, right? And so it's like, boom, 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 boom.
Me.
But
I would not receive that very well at all.
Right. And so if you're similar to me, the clarifying question as a listener is just a small thing that can help you, friend, romantic relationship, your wife, your husband, whoever, just to kind of, 1, help you as a listener. And then 2, that clarifying question can come off better many times, more so than you just kind of sharing and word vomiting on them already. Hey, this is what I think. Well, so how did that, and it sounds cliche, but literally, how did that make you feel? Or why would you do that? Or what do you think you're going to do next? Just a question, pay attention to how they're feeling and sensing.
Probing.
Right. And so all those things I think is important.
I was supposed to do a little research because I did like a little mini session on like questions, like probing questions and clarifying questions. I really believe those are the 2 categories, but you do like, are you probing to dig deeper for someone to like discover more, or clarifying so that you're making sure that you understand? And I think there's just a level where we have to again kind of know where to go with that as a good listener, and always putting like the needs of that person. Now this is going into bigger things, smaller things. It's just like, so what you want to do with that? Well, why you want, we didn't clarify big moments or small moments. So you use this as you needed in your communication.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So another thing that is really important when we're talking about being a better listener is, it's just the end goal. The end goal is to have clarity. The end goal is to have good, healthy dialogue. And if you're in the listening role, it can lead to miscommunication, conflict, right? If you're not really locked in. So that's just one thing that I know for myself. I'll speak for myself here as the best listener here, is that when you are...
You're trying to be humble for a second and you fail.
Humility is chasing the wind. And so what I'm saying, we should put that on the shirt. I did make that up. Was that pretty good?
I don't think it was
good. That should be a coffee mug?
No.
She said, at all.
I'm still trying to process what it meant. That
you can't attain it. You can't reach
it. That's not true. Some people can.
We don't have time.
Someone who don't say it.
That's fair. Let's focus. What I'm saying is, when you are in the listener role here, and you want to make sure you're doing a good job listening, if we don't, I'll speak for myself, it can lead to miscommunication. For example, when we had, I don't know what episode that was, when we talked about the card. Remember that episode? We talked about the card. That was a misunderstanding because based off of the communication. So my listening at that time was not ideal. So it led to a medium level spat about a card situation at the grocery store, not saving money. We used extra money we didn't have to save. It's because my listening wasn't as strong as it could have been, which then led to future conflict, right? And so you're shaking your head, or you? What are you shaking your head?
I'm just thinking about that
scenario. You think about that scenario again, like, but anyway, what I'm saying is that, so that's just another reason why we want to be better listeners. We want to listen attentively. We want to be, right, limit those distractions, put that time away so that it can limit or prevent conflict that ain't got to be there.
That's true.
Boom.
That's true.
That's it.
Yeah, I ain't got nothing to add to
Don't
that.
add nothing.
Next up, being a great listener builds trust and respect, because
Facts.
that means that someone knows that you can listen to them well. They come to you in need. They come to you with a problem. They come to you and know that they're heard, and everyone wants to be heard when they are speaking. So being a good listener gives back into, like, I hear you, I respect you, and you can trust that now that I know this information, I'm not going to cause you harm with this information. This is for big deals, for sure, right? But then even on a smaller level, I know you're going to pick up the kids at 5 because we just agreed that that is what you are going to do. We don't have to have a miscommunication about this because you were a good listener. I communicated and we shifted, and now you pick up the kids at 5, right? You know, so it builds trust and it builds respect mutually amongst you two.
You know, trust and respect. Those are words that, you know, whenever you started dating, depending, especially if you were not that you weren't as old as you are, depending on how long you've been going. When we started dating, right, we talked so much. We talked a lot on the phone, depending on your age. You talked on the phone a lot, even if you were just kind of dating or in school or whatever the case may be.
Well, yeah, because you're trying to get to know somebody.
Right.
So it's just like, ooh.
And so, like, I would have not, what I'm saying is I wouldn't have said that we were building a lot of trust and respect at 18, 19.
But you were.
But we were.
Oh, yeah.
And when we're talking about friendships, but also as well specific romantic relationships with your boo, like, that is something that you really appreciated about your other person. And so that level of respect for them to listen to you, share your feelings about this, or you have some weird, you know, everybody's got something that's kind of weird to the other person. Like, as you're getting to know somebody, you're like, oh, really? You like Fritos with your ice cream? I think it's weird, but please give me 3 more minutes of why you think it's amazing. Oh, right? And so on and so forth. That's just an example.
It's a poor person's come.
Stop
trying to attack my family tradition.
I never said your name. Hey,
sure. They know.
2, I think that is, I could go on a t-shirt. a poor, I've never heard that. You just made that up off the dome.
Because that's what it is. It's a poor person's cone.
A poor person's
It's going to get you a bag of Fritos.
Please let us, please. Somebody, just one person,
and
message us.
Never tried it. You should try it.
Please. Try it.
Homemade Bluebell, homemade vanilla ice cream with Fritos, regular.
Not chili cheese.
And don't do no off-brand.
Don't do off-brand.
Frito brand Fritos.
Please let us know if you do the poor man's cone. Oh, that's good. I never heard that. You threw me off with that. Woo,
anyway, people are different. That's what it is. It's just an ice cream cone.
But we build so much trust and respect because when we were specifically dating or in that honeymoon phase, we were just really listening and talking on the phone for hours. Even if it was via text, there was still a level of communication because we're going back and forth.
Right.
And so just keep that in mind as we keep trying to like pursue the person we love and care about. Sometimes things can fade, like that communication, because we don't talk on the phone a lot anymore because we're face to face. So keep fighting for that. Because that's what helped build the foundation to begin with.
No, that's true. I mean, you mentioned friends makes me think about 2 of my longest friends. I mean, it comes because of years spent just talking and listening.
I admire these relationships.
Hours and
it's
listening.
Crazy.
I mean, hours on hours on hours.
Crazy.
Because we were so young and we had our own phones back then. Not cell phones, just like bedroom.
Landline
home phones.
Get off the phone. I'm on the phone.
Hey, this your girl Katoya. With Brady playing in the background.
I'm not in
right now, so just leave a message at the beep. Anyway, but those relationships are really important to me. They have built so much trust and respect because of all the communication that we've had. And so moving into that, being a good listener is not always just, the questions you ask, but it's also your nonverbal communication.
Definitely.
Your eyes, your body language, your face, all of that. The I am listening to you with my whole body listening is what we say. Another first grade term. But whole body listening. My eyes are here. My ears are listening. My face is at you. I'm giving you some nods. In first grade, we do these little, back and forth thumb things. Or, I got a connection, whatever that is in an adult conversation. You just like a nod, yep, remember when? Yep. Like that little bit, encourages your communicator that you're actually engaged in the listening through nonverbal and maybe a few little verbal comment there. So just be mindful of, your body language. But a lot of that on a communicator side is to be mindful and say, oh, maybe now's not a good time. They're not even giving me that because they can't. Maybe they're cooking. Maybe they're this. Maybe, you know. So be mindful, going back to the first point of when you choose to communicate, whether something big or small, right? But as the listener, nonverbal is just important as your verbal.
You know, I started doing ums because of you. I remember years ago, it's very interesting.
Really?
Everybody's relationship is. I was interested because I was just like, I would just look and listen silently. Like just a silent, just if I was just like, you know, just shh. And I'm looking at you in your eyes. Like when I sleep, like in my best sleep, I just sleep like I'm in a casket. Like I don't really move.
Like
my hands up, cross.
I used to literally be like, stop! In the middle of sleep.
If you don't know what we're doing physically, watch us on YouTube.
Cross the
But I would just kind of listen, and you were like, "Are you listening?" I remember this. We were in the car.
I said that.
You said it. You're like, "Are you listening?" You're not giving me any sounds. You're not saying anything back.
I said that.
Yes.
That's funny.
Remember, if you know me in our background, she comes from a much more verbal, right type of family. I come from the opposite. So it was just silent. And so with that being said,
weird.
I started doing that more.
Well, I'm very glad I called you out on that.
And I do it much more now. I was like, I remember being in a Zoom. Now
now he just be doing it too.
I was in, listen.
He'll say, girl. And I'm like, oh, shut up.
I was virtual subbing in a 5th grade classroom on a Zoom. It was like me and like a small group, 10 kids. And they were talking about a book club. Long story short, we're talking about a book. And I'm just, yeah, okay, right? Trying to, like I was in it because the book is good, et cetera, et cetera. And one boy, after I talk, goes, you make a lot of noises when you listen, Mr. Sumner. And I go, is that bad? He was like, no, it's just, you know.
I knew you were listening.
I was like, yeah, okay. And what do you think he did next? And it was so funny, he brought that up. And I was like, funny. That's because of my wife.
Well, and that's because maybe his family doesn't.
Oh, no, it's just.
They must be doing that. So he's like, oh, you're a very active listener in this dialogue.
He's engaged.
Well, I'm glad. I mean, you know, that needs to be done appropriately, right? You don't want to, because you talk to some people and it's, yes, right. And you're like, whoa.
I'm actually going to go.
I don't even know if you're listening because you're doing too much of that.
I'm going to go.
So there's a balance, but I think you do a good balance. That wasn't a shot at you or anything.
No.
This is near and dear to me.
Near and dear to her.
So this is for a big deal. Okay, if I'm coming to you because
big deal, stuff.
I need to tell you about a problem.
A problem. We're talking problem type stuff.
And I say, well, you know what, Damon, I didn't feel like. Give me a scenario. I'm trying to come along.
I don't know. I didn't do something. You actually.
I didn't feel. Yeah, like I asked you to take out the trash yesterday. You didn't do it. It's overflowing. I pulled the bag out. It's still sitting there. I just really need you to take the trash out.
Right.
This is me. I followed all these steps.
Boom.
I have talked to him. This is no limited. There's no distractions. I'm ready to go.
I ate. I'm fed.
He's good. It's all the right time.
All good.
And he's like, yeah, I did it. But you know, that's already a problem. But you know, the other day I asked you to cook dinner before you left and you didn't. What?
That ain't it.
That's called a hijack. Okay? That was the other day and you chose not to say anything. I came to you today with my problem. You cannot come on my day, my moment right here to try to talk about your problem that could be similar. Today, as I mentioned my problem.
Not right now.
It's called hijack.
Don't hijack, team.
Don't do that. It's so important to me because you didn't say nothing. So don't say nothing when I'm saying something. Now, if it is important to you, you need to follow those steps and figure out the best time for you to come up with your to bring your case to the court. But it is not on this case. This is this court's case. It's not a time.
It's not a dual case.
No, we can't do that.
Singular cases.
It's just really important because then it's like you're not listening with me. You're just trying to come back at me. Right. I mean, maybe that is true, and I'm not negating that the situation is not true.
Fair.
It's just not the right time.
Boom.
So as a listener, don't come in and hijack it with your problem.
Oh boy.
Please.
Please.
And maybe that doesn't matter to some people. But to me, it is offensive. And I'm like, oh, I can't even believe you're doing that. Because I'm trying to come to you. I followed these steps. This is a good time.
Listen,
and you trying to come in on me.
If you've been dating your boo for a while,
look at me. I'm upset like it's
upset.
happening.
She's upset. That's how passionate she is. If you've been dating your boo for a while, more than likely, you know, if you try to go at two different situations at the same time with all the different emotions and feelings, especially we talking about problems, we're talking about issues, spat, conflict. If we're trying to bring two different conflicts that more than likely happen at two different times, it's not going to end well in our experiences, and more than likely in your experience, you probably be like, you know what? Yeah, when we try to bring two different things to the table, nothing gets handled well, right? Because we're both trying to not listen well. We're both trying to communicate.
We're both trying to share.
We're both trying to share.
Ain't nobody listening.
Ain't nobody listening.
So this, yeah. And I'm sure we mentioned this in conflict too, because it's important.
Run it back.
But it's also in listening. They trying to share something with you, just listen.
So I gotta come there
and
listen.
Let your pride go down tomorrow. I'm coming in with this problem. And that's what I'm gonna do. Yep.
So as a listener for that, I gotta be like, my bad. I take the trash out. Boom. We talk a little bit more. We come to a resolution. Boom. Makeup sex. You move on about today, right? Tomorrow I come through, make sure she's fed, put that book down. Boom. But about that food 2 days ago, yeah, I want to talk about it. You know, then we talk about it.
Maybe not like that, because I'd be like,
maybe not. Or maybe I just, you know, we cook dinner and move that on. Also, sometimes you can just leave stuff in the past.
It is true. It just depends.
It depends on what it is.
You got to see how it feel on you. How does that feel to you? Is that important enough? Or is it not?
Because we got wings and rice tonight. So I'm not worried about 2 days ago dinner anymore. I'm not worried about it.
Yep, don't make it about you.
Don't make it about you.
Not be a hijacker.
I think another thing that's important before we get out of here, that when you talk about listening, it's just that we're constantly growing as people, right? In friendships and relationships, whatever. So just being a good listener overall is just something that's just going to continue to help you like know each other better, right? I knew Katoya from 18 to 21, high school, college, like because I was listening to her. She is not the same person. I am not the same person now. Yeah. So we constantly have to... Similar, but not the same. Constantly have to continue to stay engaged listening because we are changing, our boos are changing, and that's just going to continue to help our relationships thrive and be healthy. Because if you come at me with 2 new hobbies, or you come at me with a new problem, or you hit a new job, and you got a boss you hate now, like these things are changing and evolving. And so as we are growing in our relationships...
Yeah, changing. That's Dreamgirls.
Okay, I didn't know what that was. I didn't know who that was. I was waiting. I've never seen that. We'll get to it another time. You know I haven't seen it. Don't look at me like that.
We should watch it. Anyway, sorry. I think of a song for moments, but it's true. You are changing.
Keep listening so you can continue just to know your boo better as we grow.
We're not going to be the same, and the only way you're going to do this is by observing
if I
listening.
If I were to listen to you a few years ago after Evergrace, and I heard, and I wasn't really listening to kind of your heart and how you were feeling before fitness came, and then you brought up fitness. Katoya, remember, if you know Katoya based off the podcast alone, Katoya was not big into fitness. This is no knock. This is a fact. She wore heels to track in high school, right? So on and so forth.
I mean, I play volleyball.
So if I wasn't really attentively listening here, I could have dismissed it. I could have tried to throw you shade and not really understand the feelings and emotions where you were.
I got a lot of feelings.
Right? And that was completely changed the trajectory of who you are.
It's true. And I was really sad.
Right? Babe, you know you don't be working out like that. Stop that. Let's just go.
You don't even like that. Don't do that.
You don't work. We don't. What are you talking? Like, it's just like
your life is fine. No, it is not. I am sad. I have nothing to do but sit here with these kids. That's not exciting. While you go do comedy every night, what am I doing? What's my purpose?
You're listening to me.
I'm just a mom. That did not sit well.
That did not sit well.
Oh
right?
Gosh.
We got to keep listening so we can keep growing and keep having the best relationships that we can have. So.
That's true. Well, thank y'all so much for tuning in to another week of Summing Up with the Summoners. Hopefully it was fun and it provided some good starter points for communication. That's truly like one of our biggest goals in this podcast is that, you know, maybe you listen individually or you listen collectively, but some type of way you can bring some of this into your conversations in your relationship. But thank y'all again. We'll see you next week. This is
See you.